My sister Emma told our aunts I was too cheap to dress like I had any self-respect. She said this while wearing a $500 designer blouse she charged to a credit card she couldn't pay. I nodded and smiled. Then I checked my phone and saw my investment portfolio had just hit $3.4 million. I'm Sarah Mitchell, 34 years old, software engineer, living in Portland, Oregon. For 15 years, I've been the family's reliable one, the boring sister who sends $800 every month to mom, who paid $12,000 for Jake's rehab, who bailed Emma out of $40,000 in business debt last year. They see me shopping at Target and assume I'm barely scraping by. It started when Dad died. I was 19, Jake was 17, Emma was 15. Mom was drowning in grief and medical bills. Someone had to step up. Someone had to be the adult. That someone was always me. I learned to budget when my friends were learning to party. I worked 2 jobs through college while Jake got arrested for underage drinking and Emma discovered designer makeup. I graduated debt-free because I couldn't afford not to. I took the first job offered because the family needed money now, not after I found my dream position. The pattern was simple. Crisis hits family. Sarah fixes it. Repeat. Jake's first DUI, I paid the lawyer. $2,000 from my emergency fund. Emma's credit card debt at 21. I covered it. $4,000. Mom's car breaking down. I bought her a used Honda. $8,000. Emma's boutique business loan. I cosigned. $15,000 when it failed. Jake's second rehab stint. Private facility this time. Mom said he needed the best, $18,000. Each time, they promised to pay me back. Each time, the family moved on like my money had appeared from thin air. I never pushed because family doesn't charge family interest, right? Family doesn't keep score. I lived in a small 1-bedroom apartment, shopped at discount stores, drove a 10-year-old Toyota, cooked at home. Saved everything I could because someone always needed something. 3 years ago, everything changed. The mobile app I'd been developing nights and weekends got noticed. Google bought it for $2.8 million after taxes. I put the money in index funds and didn't tell anyone. I'd learned to anticipate their needs. I kept living exactly the same way. Same apartment, same car, same Target clothes. I kept sending the $800 monthly to Mom. I wanted to see what would happen if they thought nothing had changed. What happened was cousin Rebecca's wedding in Sacramento. I wore a navy dress from Target, $32. It was simple, appropriate, comfortable. I felt good. Emma showed up in head-to-toe designer everything. The blouse, the shoes, the handbag, the jewelry. Later, I calculated she was wearing about $3,000 worth of clothes and accessories, all credit funded. At the cocktail hour, she started. Poor Sarah, she announced to Aunt Linda and Aunt Terrell. Still shopping at Walmart, I see. I was across the room, but I heard every word. Someone should tell her that dressing like you have no money becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, Emma continued. I keep telling her to invest in herself, but she's just too cheap. Aunt Linda glanced my way sympathetically. Well, Emma, not everyone has your fashion sense. It's not about fashion, Emma said, getting louder. It's about self-respect. Sarah dresses like she's given up on life. I felt my phone buzz. Investment account alert. My portfolio had gained $12,000 that day. Market was having a good day. I walked over calmly. The dress is actually from Target, I said, not Walmart. Though I shop there too. Emma's face flushed. Sarah, I didn't mean, it's fine, I said. You're right about investing in yourself. Smart advice. I excused myself to the bathroom. In the mirror, I looked at my $32 dress. I looked at my face, free of the $70 foundation Emma was wearing. I thought about the numbers in my investment account. For the first time in 15 years, I felt something shift. That evening, I called my financial advisor. Marcus, I said, I want to hire a private investigator. For what? My family. I need to know what they're really doing with money. Sarah, are you sure about this? I've given them over $50,000 in 15 years. I want to know where it went. The investigation took 6 weeks. What it revealed changed everything. Jake wasn't using my money for living expenses. He'd been selling the electronics I bought him, the laptop, the tablet, the gaming system, to fund a gambling addiction. Not drugs, like Mom told me, gambling. He owed bookies $14,000. Emma hadn't just failed at her boutique business. She'd been using my name as a reference for credit applications. She'd forged my signature on a loan application for $8,000. The loan was approved based on my credit score, but Mom was the worst discovery. She'd been telling extended family that I was the one struggling financially, that she was helping me. She'd collected sympathy donations totaling over $6,000 from relatives who thought they were helping me through hard times. I sat in my living room reading the investigator's report. My hands were shaking. My chest felt tight. The smell of my lemon cleaning spray and something burning from my neighbor's apartment mixed together in a way that made me nauseous. I called Marcus again. "I need a lawyer," I said. "What kind of lawyer?" "The kind that handles identity theft and fraud." "Sarah, what did you find?" I told him everything. The forged signatures, the lies to relatives, the gambling debts funded by selling my gifts. "Jesus," he said. "I'm sorry." "Don't be sorry," I said. "Be angry with me." That night, Mom called. "Sarah, honey, we need to talk." "About what?" "Emma has this amazing new business opportunity. A wellness company. She just needs some startup capital." I almost laughed. "How much startup capital?" "Well, she was thinking if you could take out a second mortgage on your condo." "A second mortgage?" "I know it sounds like a lot, but this is different. This is her calling, and family helps family, right? Dad would have wanted us to stick together." I could hear Emma and Jake in the background, coaching her, feeding her lines. "How much, Mom?" $60,000. "But it's an investment, not a gift. You'll get it back with interest when the business takes off." I looked around my small living room, my 12-year-old television, my secondhand couch, my empty refrigerator because I'd been too tired to grocery shop. "Let me think about it," I said. "Of course, honey. Take your time. We're family." After I hung up, I called the lawyer Marcus had recommended. Her name was Patricia Chen. She specialized in financial fraud. "Based on what you're telling me," Patricia said, "you have grounds for criminal charges: identity theft, fraud, forgery. What happens if I press charges? Your sister could face up to 5 years in prison. Your brother would need to enter a payment plan. Your mother would be required to make restitution to the family members she defrauded. And if I don't, they'll keep doing it. People like this don't stop, they escalate." I thought about the $60,000 mortgage Emma wanted. I thought about the next crisis. And the one after that. What do I need to do? Document everything, record conversations if it's legal in your state, gather bank statements, get copies of anything with your forged signature. Oregon is a one-party consent state. I bought a recording app. Over the next 2 weeks, I recorded every conversation with my family. I photographed bank statements. I requested copies of the forged loan documents. I printed emails where Emma discussed her stupid sister who never checks credit reports. The evidence was overwhelming, but the worst recording came from a 3-way call between Mom, Emma, and Jake. They didn't know I was listening. "She's going to cave," Emma said. "Sarah always caves." "Just keep using the family guilt," Mom advised. "Remind her what Dad would want." "The $60,000 is just the start," Jake added. "Once she refinances, we can hit her up again in 6 months." "She's so pathetic," Emma laughed. "Dressing like a homeless person, living in that tiny apartment. At least our money troubles are temporary. Her life is just sad." They were laughing, all 3 of them, laughing about how easy I was to manipulate. I hung up and sat in my kitchen. I looked at my phone displaying my investment account balance, $3.2 million. I looked at my Target dress hanging on the back of a chair. I thought about my dad, who taught me that integrity matters more than appearances. I scheduled Thanksgiving at my apartment. I hired a catering service. Real tablecloths, real flowers, the works. I wanted everything perfect. Patricia arrived first, carrying a manila folder. Marcus came next with a bottle of wine and moral support. Then my family. Mom brought her famous green bean casserole. Emma wore a new outfit that probably cost more than my monthly grocery budget. Jake looked nervous, like he always did when money conversations were coming. We ate. We talked about Rebecca's wedding, about the weather, about Emma's new wellness business idea, normal family stuff. After dessert, I stood up. Before we discussed my mortgage situation, I said, I'd like to share some news. Emma perked up. Did you already talk to the bank? In a way, I said. I nodded to Patricia, who opened her folder. 3 years ago, I continued, Google acquired my mobile app for $2.8 million. The room went completely silent. I never told you because I wanted to see what would happen if you thought nothing had changed. Emma's face went white. What do you mean? I mean, I've been watching you for 3 years, documenting everything, recording conversations, gathering evidence. I pulled out my phone and played the recording from 2 weeks earlier. Their voices filled my small dining room. She's going to cave. Sarah always caves. She's so pathetic. At least our money troubles are temporary. Her life is just sad. Jake dropped his fork. Mom started crying. Patricia is my attorney, I continued. She specializes in financial fraud. Emma found her voice. Sarah, you can't be serious. Emma, you forged my signature on loan documents. That's a felony. It was just one time. 3 times actually. We have copies. I turned to Jake. You've been selling the electronics I bought you to pay gambling debts. That's theft. Sarah, I was going to tell you. When? After I refinanced my home to fund Emma's pyramid scheme, I looked at Mom. And you. You collected over $6,000 from relatives by lying about my financial situation. They wanted to help. They wanted to help me. Not you. Patricia cleared her throat. Mrs. Mitchell, you have 48 hours to contact each family member you defrauded and arrange restitution. Otherwise, we're filing charges. Sarah, Mom whispered, please, we're family. Family, I repeated. That word used to mean something to me. I looked around my small apartment, at my simple furniture and my Target clothes and my secondhand everything. You see this place and think I'm failing. You see my clothes and think I've given up. You see my quiet life and think I'm pathetic. I pulled up my investment portfolio on my phone. This is what you're actually looking at, I said, showing them the screen. $3.4 million. Emma stared at the numbers. That's not real. It's very real. I could have bought your failed boutique with pocket change. I could have paid Jake's gambling debts without noticing the money was gone. I could have lived in a mansion and worn designer everything. I put my phone away. Instead, I chose to live modestly and see who you really were when you thought I had nothing to give. Sarah, Jake said, we can change. We can pay you back. With what money? You're $40,000 in debt to people who break legs. I stood up. Dinner's over. Patricia has all your contact information. You know what you need to do. They left. All 3 of them. Emma crying, Jake begging, Mom threatening to disown me. I sat in my quiet apartment and ate leftover pie. For the first time in 15 years, I felt free. 6 months later, the legal proceedings were finished. Emma pled guilty to identity theft. She got 2 years probation, community service, and a requirement to attend financial counseling. She lost her job at the marketing firm when the background check revealed her criminal record. Last I heard, she was working retail and living with a roommate. Jake entered court-mandated gambling addiction treatment. He's paying me back $50 a month for the next 8 years. He's also working 2 jobs and attending Gamblers Anonymous meetings. Mom returned the money to all the relatives she'd lied to. She sent written apologies to each family member explaining what she'd done. Most of them forgave her. Some didn't. I established a family trust with strict conditions. Mental health treatment, financial counseling, complete transparency with money. If they meet the requirements for 2 consecutive years, they can apply for limited financial assistance. None of them have qualified yet. I bought a house. Nothing extravagant, just a 3-bedroom craftsman in a quiet neighborhood called Laurelhurst. The house is 90 years old with original hardwood floors and built-in bookshelves. It has a front porch with a swing and a backyard garden where I grow tomatoes, herbs, and flowers I can cut for the kitchen table. The house feels like freedom. I have a home office with 2 monitors where I develop new apps and take freelance consulting projects. I have a guest room where friends actually stay when they visit. I have a formal dining room where I host dinner parties with real cloth napkins and wine glasses that match. Simple pleasures that feel revolutionary after years of living in constraint. I kept my Toyota, though I did finally replace the tires and fix the dent in the passenger door. The car runs perfectly, and there's something satisfying about driving a paid-off vehicle to meetings with clients who assume I must be struggling because I don't lease a BMW. I still shop at Target, though now it's by choice, not necessity. I like their home goods section and their simple, well-made basics. But I also shop at the farmer's market on Saturdays and buy fresh flowers every week because I can. The difference between want and need has become clear to me in a way it never was before. I need reliable transportation, decent clothes, healthy food, and a safe place to live. Everything else is a choice. Having money means I get to choose instead of having choices made for me by circumstance. I started dating Marcus, my financial advisor. What began as professional meetings over coffee evolved into something deeper when he offered to help me process the emotional aftermath of discovering my family's fraud. "You're handling this remarkably well," he said during one of our early conversations. "You mean I'm not crying enough? I mean you're responding with evidence and strategy instead of just emotion. That takes real strength." Marcus turned out to be funny and kind and completely unimpressed by my bank account. He makes jokes about dating someone who could buy the restaurant we're eating in. He likes my Target dresses and says they suit me better than anything designer ever could. "You know what I find attractive about you?" he said one evening as we cooked dinner together in my new kitchen. "My devastating charm and wit. Your authenticity. You've had millions of dollars for 3 years, and you still drive a Toyota and shop at Target. You know who you are? I know who I'm not," I said. "I'm not someone who needs expensive things to feel valuable." "Exactly. You've never confused your worth with your net worth." Marcus has met my family exactly once at a neutral restaurant 6 months ago. Mom was on her best behavior, wearing a simple dress and speaking quietly. Jake was nervous but polite, shaking hands and making eye contact. Emma didn't come. She was working and couldn't get the time off. "They seem like they're trying," he said afterward. "Trying is good," I said, "but trust has to be earned back incrementally." "Do you think you'll ever trust them again?" "I don't know, but I know I don't need to. That's the difference." "What do you mean?" "For 15 years, I thought I needed them to be different for me to be okay. Now I know I'm okay, regardless of who they choose to be." Marcus understands money in a way that makes him a good partner for someone with my history. He doesn't try to convince me to spend more or less. He doesn't judge my financial decisions or try to manage my money. He respects my boundaries and my autonomy. When I told him about the family trust I'd established, he nodded approvingly. "Structured giving," he said. "Smart. It protects everyone involved." "Think it'll work?" "I think it gives them a path forward if they want to take it, and it protects you from falling back into old patterns. And if they never qualify, then you'll know you tried and you can move forward without guilt." Last week, I got a text from Emma. "I saw your house on Mom's Facebook. It's beautiful. I'm happy for you." Then another, "I'm sorry about what I said at Rebecca's wedding, about your clothes and your life. I was wrong about everything." I stared at the messages for a long time before responding. I replied, "I forgive you, but forgiveness doesn't erase consequences." She never wrote back but I didn't need her to. The apology was for her as much as for me. Yesterday, I wore a $35 dress from Target to a work presentation where I negotiated a contract worth $200,000 for my company. The client complimented my no-nonsense approach and mentioned wanting to work with someone who clearly prioritizes substance over style. Afterward, my boss pulled me aside to congratulate me and mention a promotion opportunity that would come with a significant raise and equity in the company. "You've been our most reliable performer for 3 years running," she said. "We'd like to make you a partner." I came home to my beautiful house and my rescue dog, Luna, a golden retriever mix who greets me like I've been gone for months, even when I just went to check the mail. Marcus was already there, cooking something that smelled amazing and made my house feel like home. We ate dinner on the back porch while Luna chased fireflies in the garden. We talked about work and travel plans and the book Marcus is reading about sustainable investing. Normal couple conversations that feel extraordinary because they're built on honesty and mutual respect. I checked my investments before bed. 3.7 million now. The number keeps growing, but it feels less important than it used to. Security matters, freedom matters, but the number itself is just a tool. I thought about Dad, who always said that wealth isn't about what you own. It's about the freedom to choose who deserves your time, your trust, and your truth. I chose correctly. Finally, I chose to protect myself instead of enabling others. I chose evidence over emotion. I chose consequences over forgiveness without change. One chose my own well-being over family obligation. Most importantly, I chose to see my modest lifestyle as a choice rather than a limitation. My Target dresses and simple pleasures aren't signs of failure. They're signs of someone who knows the difference between wanting and needing, between appearance and substance. My family saw my quiet life and assumed I was small. They mistook simplicity for weakness, frugality for poverty, contentment for lack of ambition. They were wrong about all of it. Sometimes the strongest people are the ones who don't need to prove their strength to anyone. Sometimes the wealthiest people are the ones who understand that money is a tool, not a trophy. Sometimes the wisest people are the ones who choose authenticity over appearance every single time. What do you think? Did I go too far or not far enough?